The golden rule approach to bullying is simple. Do unto others as we would have them do unto us. Treat others the way we would like for them to be treated, and treat others the way they would like to be treated. That's the victim, that's the bully, that's the bystander, that's the upstander. That includes everyone here. I'd like to share a story with you all regarding a group of middle school upward bound students I gave a bullying presentation to several years ago at a local state college. Whenever I close out my presentations, I always open the floor for questions. When I did that, this young girl in the back of the room, she was stuck her arm out frantically, back and forth, and I'm like, this seems like the price is right. I said, come on down. So she ran down the aisle, jumped on top of the stage. I handed her the microphone, and I asked her to introduce herself and ask the question she has. She said, my name is Olivia. Nice to meet you, Olivia. And what's your question? And immediately her eyes filled with tears. And she looked at me and she said, how do I get them to stop talking about my mommy? How do I get them to stop talking about my mommy? I looked at her, my stomach knotted up, and I said, Olivia, I think you can help me with this process. Do you know what role-playing is? Yes, I do. It's like acting. I said, you're absolutely correct. You're going to act the role of the bully, and I am going to act the role of the victim. Now, what I need for you to do for me is this. I need you to bring your best mama jokes. I need you to talk about my mama, Sadora Hall Johnson, a woman I love. Can you do that for me? Her head snapped to the left, and she looked at me like I had 3 heads on my shoulder and a long, furry green tail. And she said, no, sir, I can't do it. Gave her a hand, sent her back to her seat. I panned at the audience from the right to the left, and I said, I need somebody to come up here on this stage and talk about my mama. And before I finished the sentence, some curly-haired young boy over there stood up, and I said, another contestant for The Price is Right. So I said, come on down. So the young man came down. He jumped on top of the stage. I asked him, do you have any good mama jokes? And he said in a voice deeper than mine, yes, sir, I do. These are the rules. There will be no profanity. There will be no touching. You will not stop telling your jokes until I tell you to. I may cry, and I may even threaten to beat you up, but under no circumstances will you stop. Do you understand? Yes, sir. He suddenly grabbed his belt buckle, and he leaned back. He said, your mama, that big old fat lady, when she jumps up in the air, she gets stuck. How cruel was that? I started crying. I said, please, don't talk about my mama like that, man. Don't do that. Oh, if that bothers you, your mama, that big hippopotamus, oh, he did this too. That big hippopotamus, she has feet so big, she got to wear canoes. The room erupts in laughter, and he's just laughing, just having a ball with me. I stopped him at that time. I then faced the audience, and I asked that group of middle schoolers who had the power. They said he had the power. Well, why did he have the power? Because he made you mad. Interesting. I said, let's do it again. Let's role play it one more time, okay? He said, all right then. I already told you that your mama was big and she jumps up in the air and gets stuck. What more do you want me to say about that? But I want to tell you this about your mama feet. Your mama feet are so big when she wears heels, every time she strikes the ground, she strikes oil. Every time. I said, you know what? When my mama jumps up in the air, she's closer to God. Hallelujah. And regarding her feet, all of us got big feet. But mama got to keep wearing them heels because she's going to make us rich if she's hitting the oil every time she's hit the ground. So then I looked for Olivia out in the crowd. I said, Olivia, who has the power? And I want everyone else to chime in. And they all said, I had the power. Well, how did I have the power? Because he didn't make you mad. I am amazed at the extraordinary capacity of young people to grasp subjects that we as adults sometimes can't grasp ourselves. When we think about bullying, bullying has a negative connotation to it. But did you all know the word bully is Dutch? Originating in the 1500s, it meant lover or friend. And it was used interchangeably between men and women. That's my bully. That's my pal. But around the 1700s, it took on another meaning. Harasser, ruffian. The definition of bullying is verbal, social, physical, and the mental harassment and taunting of a person over a period of time. And we just don't have to say it's children. Adults go through the same thing. I think about my time that I became a victim. How old was I that I can truly recognize it? I was 5 years old. I looked like a pretty well-adjusted fella when you look at me. I'm happy about that. But at the age of 5, an adult family member in my family molested me as a child. And for 50 years, I kept that to myself. For 50 years, that was ingrained in my heart until I decided that I wanted to say something. Victims sometimes don't know they have a voice. They don't know what to say. I told my mother, and she looked at me with tears in her eyes, and she asked me one question. Son, how come you didn't tell nobody? And I looked back at my mother with tears in my eyes. And I said, Mama, it's not your fault. You gave me something that cannot be taken away. You empowered me when you taught me how to forgive. She told me forgiveness is not for the person that offends or bullies or wounds you. Forgiveness is for you, me, to help me walk through the eye of the storm and come out feeling great on the other side. And for that, Mama, I thank you. When I think about what we can do to address this bullying phenomenon, communication is very important. With our children, with our friends, or whomever space we may be occupying. I'm not just talking about that type of communication where you look at your watch and someone's talking and you don't feel that they fully vested with you. I'm talking about being fully present and you're listening. Particularly with children, we cannot allow the children to come home and shut us out and tell us everything is okay and go straight up to their room. We as adults and friends, we must set them down and we must probe to see what's going on. Communication is very important. I call it the elixir of life. We need to be great role models for our children, but also for our friends who may be suffering from bullying as well. I like role playing. Role playing is excellent. You're going to play this part, I'm going to play this part, and come up with all types of scenarios that a child may have to face in the course of their day. Even adults as well. Look at the videos and the games our children play and watch. Many of these games will desensitize a child. And it's the same type of child who will go and shoot up a school and kill their own peers. Watch the games they play. I really feel that in order to help a victim move from being a victim to being empowered, is that we have to invest the time in them. We have to be passionate about trying to make a change. My personal purpose statement is to inspire, impact, empower, and help transform those in and out of the space that I occupy. That's how we do it. We can be a hero for somebody if we just step outside of ourselves and just embrace them. Will we stop bullying? No. We can't stop bullying, just like we can't stop human trafficking, domestic violence, or racism. But what can we do? We can talk. We can encourage. Bullies and victims have some of the similar characteristics. They all need love. And that is what I call the golden rule approach to bullying.